Hi everyone, it's Miss Paiva. We're here with part two of our Get Lit series, where we're just going to revise our work from yesterday's opinion paragraph, and we're going to start working on our news report. Okay, and this is all again, of course, under the writing section. So yesterday we took a look at the Oreo method that goes over the opinion, reason, and evidence or an example. And then if you had some space or time, you can write your final opinion. And this is where we broke it down. I did the first highlighting with you, then I asked you to highlight the second one, so hopefully that reinforced for you what it's supposed to look like, sound like. And then you went ahead and you wrote down your answer here based on the question of what piece of clothing best expresses your personality, and then of course use specific details to explain how it conveys who you are. So of course, the first thing you have to do is identify what piece of clothing best expresses your personality. And under the O, yesterday I just wrote down shoes. So that's all you need. You just need that one piece of clothing. Then you need to provide a reason. So again, explain how it conveys who you are. So if your reason is that those shoes expresses that you have a unique personality, or perhaps you're going to write that you're responsible, whatever the case is, you needed to have a reason, and then you need to provide some concrete evidence or examples. So we went ahead and marked that for you by putting an ORE or perhaps highlighting, depending on the person who did mark your work. You'll see that it might look a little bit different, but the point is you should have gotten some feedback. If for some reason you're missing any of these three things, the O, R, or E, go ahead. We're going to ask the teacher here to pause the video and give you a few minutes to correct your work. There is some space. I know the booklet got photocopied a little wonky because I sent it to the print shop and obviously they didn't care about how it looked. So there is some blank space on the page right next to this one. So if you want to rewrite your paragraph, go ahead and use that space there. The last thing I'm going to point out is that you have 6 lines to write your work. And the EQAO people, they are looking for you to fill in those 6 lines. So if you were able to do the ORE and you still had about a line left, then it's highly recommended you add that last O, that concluding sentence, just because you want to use up the space provided. This is part of how they mark the written component. So make sure you use the space. And that goes for the entire OSLT test, not just this question. So anytime you're given an amount of space, they want to see that you use the entire space, okay? So go ahead, teachers, if your students want some time to revise their work or just go over their answer one more time, press pause and give them, I'd say, about a few minutes, maybe 5 minutes, just to get this work revised. Okay. At this point, we're going to move on just to kind of show you, this is the rubric for that opinion paragraph. So this is something else that you can take a look at just to make sure you have everything. And this is what we're going to be marking today based on your final answer, and you'll get that back tomorrow. So today's lesson is going to be on one of the long writing tasks, which is the news report. So you're going to have to make up an event, add in some details, and write a news report. It's worth 100 points, 60 points for topic development and 40 points for writing conventions. So just like last time, I can't stress this enough, you really need to kind of plan what you're going to write about before you write. All right, you're going to want to do some brainstorming and perhaps some jot notes just to get you thinking about what it is you're going to be writing about. There's a couple key things you need to think about when you're writing a news report. The first one is you need to include a brief sentence, which is like your first sentence. It's called a lead in a news article. That includes the who, where, when, what. And if that's the only thing that person read, they should know what the story is about. So it's got to be including all of those 4 key elements. And then the rest of the article is supposed to be going from most important to least important information. And it also needs to include some quotes, okay, from either witnesses or experts that make the event seem very realistic. News articles always will do this. It's called an attribution. So for example, they'll say the mayor of Maple, John Smith, was saying, in quote, and then they'll put in the quotation mark and then they'll add what he wrote. So, or what he said. The point is that you need to identify who's speaking. So when you do a quote, make sure you're sounding like a news report. Put the name of the person who's saying it. Also describe who they are. Are they a neighbor that witnessed the event? Are they the principal of the school? Are they an expert psychologist and what's their name. So always include who they are and what their name is when you include a quote. Okay, they're looking for that in your answer. The other key thing is that in a newspaper article, paragraphs are really short. They're only about 1 to 2 sentences each, and they have to be indented to show that they are a separate paragraph. So we've got an organizer to help you plan. So it kind of goes on, what is the event, then the who, where, when, why, and then the how, like how did it happen, what were the main things. And again, you're trying to always go from most important to least important in a newspaper article. So that's something else to kind of think about as you're planning. So on the next page, and again, I think it's just a blank page for you, but if you keep going, you'll see the news report. This is an example of somebody who got a perfect score. So a code 60 for topic development and a code 40 for the written, which gave them a full 100. So the first thing you'll see is something called the date and byline. You don't even need this. It's not required, but if you put it in, it doesn't hurt. All right. And what that is the date that it was written plus the source of the news article. Okay. So you can just keep it simple. Just use Toronto Star. Then it goes into the lead. So that's that sentence that includes the who, where, when, and why. So they just blanked out school name and location because they used a real one and they don't want you to, I don't know, it's top secret. I don't know. They just don't want you to know about it. So the students of school name in blank location took part in a very important provincial vote yesterday. So there's the when. The who is the students of the school. The where is the location. And then the why is they're saying that it's a provincial vote. So they've included all of the key things that they needed to include, and it directly relates to the headline and to the photo. Next up, they go into describing some more information. They've added in some quotes. You'll see some fake facts in here, which is fine. And they go from most important to least important. And they include a conclusion. There's also supposed to be some transition words if possible, kind of leading towards like what's next or what's happening. So maybe some transition words to show the progression of your story, what could help. So what are we doing today? I'm not going to read through this. You're going to read through it. And what I would like you to do, because I think this would be really helpful, is to use this organizer here to take the information out of this article. So for example, with the lead, put it in right here, put this information. Now we don't have a specific name of the school and we don't have the name of the location, but you can make it up. All right. And then I want you to kind of dissect this article and put it into the organizer so that you can see exactly what they use that information to generate this. So again, teachers, if you want to pause the video for about, I'd say maybe 5 minutes and let your students do this, I think this would be very valuable for them to dissect this example and understand how they got the information. All right, now that you've dissected this news article and you filled in this organizer, you should have a better sense of how to write a news report. Okay, so for today, you've got, this is the headline and the photograph. So school board to change school schedule. And here's a picture of a nice classroom. So this is exactly what it looks like on the OSLT. It includes this information here. So you're going to write a news report based on the headline and picture above. Remember to include the who, what, where, when, how, and why. And that's kind of your lead, followed by the rest of the article. You must relate your news report to both the headline and the picture. And remember that you're reading, your audience is a newspaper. So include those quotes, include that idea from most important to least important. And you get this whole page to write your answer, no more, no less. So what I would suggest you do is using this blank space, or if you have, again, some more blank space in this booklet because of the wonky photocopying, take some notes. Do your lead first. So do all those W's. And then think about what are some of the quotes that you're going to write about. Who's going to say them? Because remember, you need to attribute who are they and what's their name, and then give their quote. Do that, and you want to have at least 2 quotes. So go through that, brainstorm, and then write. And again, this is going to take us probably 15 to 20 minutes. So teachers, give your students as much time as they need. Once they're done, please collect all of the booklets, put it in the folder, wrap it with elastics, and drop it in my mailbox or in my office in room 210 so that we can give your students feedback for tomorrow's lesson. Thank you. Have a good time writing. See you tomorrow.